Alright, hello and welcome to another vlog. I know these don't typically do as well as my other kinds of videos, but I enjoy making them, so I'm going to keep doing that. So this week I'm very excited to get started on a couple new projects and then finish a couple of old projects, hopefully. So let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we? The to-do list for today, other than the stays, which, you know, they just need to be bound and then we're good. I need to cut out the pattern for the blouse. That is actually done. I did that last night. And that's when I ran into that French seaming shenanigan ridiculousness. So, cut out pattern for the blouse, that is done. I need to dig through my pattern stash because I think I was watching someone make something Edwardian and now I want something Edwardian. So I need to make the foundation garments for any kind of Edwardian, anything I want to do. So dig out the pattern for that. I also would need to come up with a petticoat because I don't believe the pattern I have includes a petticoat, which means I might... Okay, so I've tried to make a petticoat like 3 times now. It has not worked out. Not sure why, it's driving me crazy, but yes. A petticoat is something that I just can't seem to get together. So I'm going to buy a pattern. I've tried scaling patterns. I know they're like super easy. They're basically skirts and you've scaled a skirt before, Ashley, so why can't you scale a petticoat pattern? I don't know. I just can't. So we're gonna buy a pattern for a petticoat because I cannot be bothered anymore and I already don't like making them. And then I want to cut out the pattern for the actual Gambit dress, but I'm trying to decide on whether or not I want to use the wool that I have. And of course I have another wool that I would like to make an 80s skirt pattern out of because I finished my red plaid wool skirt and I really like the length of it, and I suspect this pattern that I have from the 80s is that same pattern. So I need to dig it out and see how long it is. But in other news, here are the stays. We have them all put together. So these aren't like historically accurate by any means. These are just for funsies. I want to dress like a hobbit kind of day stays. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boning channels, and that's it. I do have boning over there-ish underneath the table. So I just need to bind these edges. And I have my binding right here. And this probably isn't enough, but never fear, I can make more. So that's to be done sometime today. So this is the pattern here for the Gambit dress. And this is the wool I was thinking about using for that dress, which I think would be, I was saving this for a suit, but I'm kind of thinking I would like it in the skirt, or I'd like it in the dress. It's a wool gauze, I think. It's very, very, very fine wool. So, and I have like 4 yards of it, so I'm thinking I might be able to squeeze out both. We shall see. But that's the wool I was thinking of for that. By the way, this was a pattern in question for the Edwardian stuff. I do have a book. I have Corsets and Crinolines by Norwell. I also have Stays and Corsets by Mandy Barrington, but I really don't feel like scaling anything and I could just cut this out. This looks close enough. It's an Angela Clayton pattern and I dubiously trust McCall's, but I know I trust Angela Clayton. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and use this for that particular year, especially since I don't think I would get a lot of use out of it, and I would like to get through this fairly quickly. The only thing I'd be missing is the busk, and this calls for a 13-inch busk, which seems quite long, but I guess those are quite long, but I might err on the side of caution and get a 12-inch busk. But yes, that would be really the only thing I'm missing for that. And I think I will go ahead and make this up out of a silk satin that I have. I have some gold, but I don't think I have enough. So I might make it out of the brown that I have. And if that doesn't work, then I do have this really fun dupe peony that I can make out of it. So we'll see. And then these stays are almost done. So these really just need to be stitched down. I have the boning in there. They're not supposed to be super supportive, so if they're a little bit wrinkly, I'm okay with that. Because again, these are more like casual hobbity day kind of stays rather than actual stays. So yes, these, I just need to trim down or sew down those bias. The binding, that, yes, okay. And I am back from my trip from Joann's. It's now 3 hours later because I didn't go to just Joann's. I ended up going somewhere with my dad, and then we stopped by an antique mall where sadly I didn't buy anything, but I did make some purchases at Joann's. So first things first are these little buckles. These are just little leather-craft buckles. It was a 2-pack for like $5. These are 3/4 of an inch. And the plan is to finally finish our Kenobi belt. So this, I don't know if I've even talked about it in a previous video or not, maybe in the Kenobi video, which I will have linked to yay abouts here. I started making a leather belt, an actual leather belt for Kenobi to go with the dress that I made, and I decided I couldn't really think of a good way to have it close, and then I realized that this leather is super moldable. I've discovered that when I did this little bit here. So I thought, well, I could just have it closed with a buckle. So I just need to go and find some buckles, and these buckles fit pretty dang perfectly. So I just need to punch some holes where these little dots are indicated to install the buckle, and then this will just buckle close in the back. And at some point I'll also need to go in and finish this raw edge here, as well as clean up the very poor staining that I did on the side. I also need to burnish it a little bit more because it's not burnished very well. But this belt, what I really like about it is that it's so completely detachable. Like, you could take this whole thing apart and then continue working on it, but then still be able to wear it while you're working on it. So if I did want to finesse the edges, like maybe one day bevel them down, re-stain them, re-burnish them, I can do that. So yeah, so I got these 2 buckles so I could finally finish this project so I could wear it again. I chose a chrome to go with the chrome hardware on the center of the buckle. So that's Kenobi. I went ahead and picked up some ribbon for the hoppity stays that I'm working on just so I could lace them up. This is 10 yards of nylon ribbon, I think, for $1, polyester ribbon for $1. And it's a 1/4 inch wide, so it's, you know, good enough to use to lace these shut. So yeah, as well as any other like little projects I have. I like lacing things with ribbon and just threading it through because A, polyester is really quite strong, and B, it's really not bulky, and it's easy to get your hands on as well. So you will need a needle, I think, to do the lacing, but it's just, for me, I think it's a lot easier, and you have 10 yards of uninterrupted yardage, which is very important when you're, you know, spiral lacing or cross lacing anything. And then while I was there, I couldn't help but go through the clearance section, so I ended up getting these little plastic buttons, but they've got that really cute little design on them. I think that would look good on the front of a skirt or the front of a waistcoat or something, you know, just something cottagey and cute. Probably a skirt, to be honest, like along a skirt placket probably is what I'd use those for. This is the only 2 I could find at that location, and that's the next closest location to me is like 40 minutes away, and I'm not driving 40 minutes to find, you know, more Lamode buttons, so I just bought whatever they had left, which was 4. And yeah, that's it. That is all I've managed to accomplish today so far. So I think I'm gonna get back to, actually I can't, I need my dad to poke the buttonholes for me, or like the little holes for me on this, because I can't, I don't have the hand strength to do it. So Dad's going to do that for me, and then when he does, I'll go ahead and install the buckle and finally get this belt finished up. Aha, okay, hold on, let me get this off. Alright, thought I'd give you guys an update because we've made some accomplishments. First and foremost, the Kenobi belt is now finished, and let me see if I can put you on a tripod so I can show you what clever solution I came up with for back closure. Okay, I think this is a good enough backdrop. Okay, so like, here's the front, and then the back. So as you can see, I went ahead and put in a belt buckle, so it'll actually just unbuckle like a normal belt. Ta-da! So the only thing I really need to do on this is actually just go in and burnish and stain the edges, and then this belt is now done, and I am quite pleased. So I guess the next thing I need to do is actually go in and make the robes, right? Now the other thing that I have completed today are these little hobbity stays. These were made using the American Duchess pattern. The binding is now done, the lacing is now done. It was done with just some little embroidered eyelets, and this is, you know, the cheap dollar off-right ribbon. This kind, it's not off-right, I'm sorry, it is Spulo ribbon. You get like 10 yards of it for $1. And I think if I were to make this again, which I probably will, is I would go ahead and round off this little front point a little bit more. It is very cute, but I don't particularly like it. It is a good base if you want to do like an Aurora from Sleeping Beauty kind of black bodice. It works really well for that. So that is okay. So we are going to try something, my friends. I was scrolling through the Etsy as you do, and I came across this beautiful Edwardian skirt. It is McCall's 2704. It looks like it's a 28-inch waist and a 46-inch hip. It's 42 inches long, and it takes and the hem is 4 3/8 of a yard around the bottom. Let's see. And it's got the center front panel with 4 buttons on either side going down, a back placket, and 4 buttons going along the back as well. Can't tell if there is pleating in this skirt or not, but I think given the way the hem flares out towards the bottom here, it probably does. So here's what we're going to do. This is a 5-cord skirt from 1909, and I want it. So I went to archive.org and I typed in, under their thing is 5-cord skirt under the search, and then I scrolled down and I clicked tailoring under topics, and that brought me basically all the women's tailoring books, and then I just changed the year to 1909, and then Mr. Glickstein's system, scale of proportions, blah blah blah, gave me this skirt right here, a 5-cord skirt. So I need to measure this and figure out how wide that waist is to make sure I get one to measure out at 28 inches. And I need to also figure out how long that hem is, because it doesn't tell me, which means I probably need to read this book. But yeah, basically I'm going to try and draft this skirt using his method, his system, and that way I could just make the skirt I want. So in the back I would have to add pleating, probably down to like here-ish. So they would join here and then start to flare at that point. Yeah, so we're going to try this and see if it works out. Okay, I had a flash of remembrance, I suppose, that I need to check the waist measurements on this. So this is 5 panels, so this is precisely half of the skirt on this diagram here. So I went ahead and did the math and took out the darts, and this waist will measure in at 27 inches, which is perfect. I'm so excited. And then the hip, assuming that is the hip length, yeah, it's 7 inches down. That's approximately the high hip. So that will measure in at 43 inches, which is more than enough room. And then what I'll probably do is off on this side of the skirt, I will add in pleats, probably here. So I will extend the pattern out by like however many pleats I want, and I'll do the same here in the front. So there'll be pleating here in the front, and then there'll be pleating here in the back. Somehow my tabletop always becomes a mess when I'm drafting, but you know what, that's just how it goes. It is now 3 in the morning, and I think I've got this skirt figured out the way I want to do it. So I drafted it wrong. Well, I drafted it right, but it's wrong for the pattern that I would like to do. So let me explain. This is the front panel, and it is perfectly fine. And I went ahead and just notated that this is from the Glickstein system. It's a 1908 5-panel skirt. This is the center front with no seam allowance, and you cut the center front on the fold. I also marked the hip line, and this is the waist line up here. But then I notated here, I'm like, for McCall's 2704, i.e. that one, 5-cord skirt, we want to see all my little notes in blue, which means these little markings indicate the buttons and where they're going to go. And then this little memo here is that I want to add 2 inches coming off the hip line for pleat. So pleat will start here, basically. It'll fold down, so it'll be like nothing up here, but then it'll start to flare out a little bit here for 2 inches. And then, because I would like to make up 2 versions, first one being like a modern Edwardian, this is where I would actually put the hem on the shorter version. This is 9 inches up, so this would be at 31 inches down. This is 31 inches. And I'll just put that on all of them so I know that'd be 31 inches down from the waist. So anyway, on the side panel, I didn't really make any changes. I just again notated that it's the side panel, this is the center front side, that's the center back side. But on the back, we will see some more notes. I drew a line coming down here, all the way down to the hem. And what that line is the line I would actually need to cut it on coming off this second dart to make this the skirt for the McCall's pattern. And again, this would be the back panel, and then this would be combined with our previous side panel. I would join those two back together and then cut the line here basically. So I would fold my pattern when I go to cut it out so that I don't change this one too much, or I would trace it off. But yeah, this will be the back unless I'm doing, this will be the back basically from here to here if I'm doing the McCalls, but if not, then it'd be the full width of the back, and that would be the back. So I just made a little note there, for McCalls, 2704, cut here, combine this side with the side panel. And I put panel, but we mean panel. And then again, I just notated where I want my buttons to be, and that here, coming off the hip, there would be 3 inches added for pleating on either side. So that would be 6 inches, I think, coming off that, and I'm not sure if that's excessive. That would be about 6 inches right to there to pleat down. So I don't know, that seems like a reasonable amount to add fullness to the skirt. If I think it's too much, I might take it down to 4 inches to pleat down on either side, but I don't think that would be very fun, so maybe not. And then I also add a zipper here in case I'm doing like a modern Edwardian, or a placket if I'm doing the actual Edwardian. And that's it, I think. So tomorrow I will cut a shorter version of this. And does that hem look funky to you? Looks a little bit funny to me. It looks fine when you ignore this, but I don't know, it looks a little bit like a trumpet to me. Maybe I need to square that off. That looks a little bit unsquare. Anyway, yes, tomorrow I think I'm going to pick a fabric that I hopefully have enough yardage of, which I don't think I do, and make this up. Okay, hello and welcome to an update. I kind of got into the groove of what I was doing and almost assembled a dress. So currently on the dress form, that's an iron. On the dress form I have the skirts hanging out. The intention is it's a 3/4 circle skirt, so the intention is just to let it stretch, and this gauzy wool will stretch. So the other thing I've done is I have obviously cut out all the pieces, and I have seamed together the front and the front facing, and I just seamed together the lining to the back of the front facing. And then on the backs I have the darts sewn into place and the side seam sewn to the back, so those just need to be pressed and put together. For the dress, however, I do need to pick up more lining because I don't have enough for the skirt, and it really does need it. My battery's flashing, so I'm going to put you on a charger. Fabric is acquired, time to cut it up. Okay, as an update on the dress, what I have here is I have the facing cut out, I have it put together, and I have it mostly attached to the bodice. So what I need to do is I actually just need to go and tack along the lining just so it doesn't start getting too shifty on me as I'm piping it and all that. And I also went ahead and made up the back neck facing and attached that. So that is done and good to go, and I just need to, again, slip stitch it down there. And that's on both pieces. The lining for the skirt is already made up and it is hanging. It's about time for an update. I've been quiet, I think, on updating simply because I woke up this morning with a huge headache and that just drained all my energy, so I didn't really feel like talking or doing much of anything, but I knew I wanted to really finish this dress. So basically what I need to do on the dress at this point is it's basically almost done. I need to attach the waist, the bodice to the skirt, so that. And then at some point I'm going to need to hem it, and I need to hand stitch down the shoulder seam. So I will trim this down a little bit and get it even, and then just turn it under and give it a nice finish there. So the only real unfinished raw edge of this skirt will probably be the waist. I don't know if I'm going to do anything about that. I don't really care. I might just go in with pinking shears if I even leave myself enough of a seam allowance, so we'll see. I'm not overly concerned about the waist being a little bit unfinished when the rest of the dress will be finished quite nicely. So yeah, that's what I need to do at this point. I'm going to finish my coffee and then go ahead and do that, I think. And also, okay, like I know you're not supposed to drink coffee when you have a headache because it makes it worse, but I also think that if I don't have coffee, then I will just be there miserably suffering with the headache. So either way, I'm gonna have a headache, so I just would rather have energy and a headache, if that makes sense. Okay, update time, I suppose. The dress is basically done. I just need to do some finishing work. So like the hem, it's a good length on me now. So I'm gonna do a very, very narrow rolled hem, I think. There's like a little bit of where it wants to collapse a little bit here in the front, but that is the nature of an open front dress, I suppose. Well, it's never gonna be like perfectly crisp. And I don't typically slouch either, so I think it'll be fine. It fits pretty much perfectly. It's got plenty of swish and movement. I'm very glad I lined it. So I just need to do some finishing work in the shoulders and hem it, and then run 2 tacking stitches here so this does not pull open in any weird kind of ways that I don't like. Okay, so I came over here to update my board and at the 19 Teens dress out of the raw silk. And then I was going through my daily to-dos and erasing stuff, and I noticed that I said test McCall's 2704, and I have no recollection of that, or why I wanted to test it, or for what purpose. So, and I've been through my pattern bin, and I don't have a McCall's 2704 in here, and I checked on the patterns I had laying around out and about, and I don't have any patterns. I have one over there, but that's McCall's 7915. And that's the only pattern I have out right now, so I don't know what I was talking about with that one. I do have some patterns that I listed on Etsy. This is an Ann Adams, that's McCall's, but it's not 2704, that's Marion Martin style. McCall's 3955, Simplicity, McCall's 8851. They're so slippery. Simplicity and Simplicity. So I don't know what pattern I'm talking about. Let me Google it and see if it comes up and I recognize it. Okay, yeah, I have no idea what that's about, so we're just gonna go ahead and erase it. I don't know. Alright, so the hand sewing I'll do probably tomorrow in my own time. So I really need to do the closures on the bodice and sleeves. And then I also need to see if I have fabric to make another petticoat. We're going to try that again. And then I want to make the McCall's Angela Clayton pattern too, so yep. All right, hello, hold on. Good stuff. Okay. Hello. So first off, sorry if you hear any pops or bangs or subsequent barking, because it's the 4th of July and people are popping off fireworks and my dog strongly disapproves, so he makes his displeasure known in the event that you hear a lot of noise. Anyway, also sorry about the dungaroo here, I guess that's what my dad calls it, I don't know. Sorry about the tank top situation and curled hair, because I went to work today, so I was dressed nice, and then I leave the store and walk into what presumably was a wall of lava, and from there to my car, and it was very warm, so I had to change as soon as I got home. But let me go ahead and take you through what I'm going to be working on. I guess this evening, hopefully, we'll start with the dress. Alright, so we have a Queens Gambit dress. This is the one from Mood's website. You can get the free pattern on mood.com, and also fabric if you were so inclined. So what I need to do with this dress is I need to go in and finish the seams at the shoulders, just, you know, trim, tuck under, all that jazz. Probably do the same thing with the zipper, and then I need to go ahead and hem the skirts. So that is a lot of hand sewing that I don't entirely know if I feel like doing. And then we have let me angle you down. We have our suit here. It doesn't quite fit over the dress form, but you could kind of get a look and then get a look. It's coming along and I'm very happy. So hopefully we can make some more progress with that as well. And then I am also working on a hat. So I want to make a little 60s pillbox hat, and this is kind of, I've not really made a hat before, and it kind of looks more like a cake than a hat. So we'll be making some changes, I think. This isn't completely done. I need to disassemble it and I think make it smaller. So I'm going to take 1/2 inch in from the circumference, which will shrink down the whole hat quite a bit. And then I also need to shorten the brim, I think, because when I put it on, part of the reason I did my hair today is it kind of looks like I'm wearing a little cake on top of my head, which is not the look I'm really going for. So I need to make it smaller. So I'll also be doing that sometime this evening. I just need to decide what I want to work on at first. And then I think once this gets, what else do I need to do on that? Oh, I need to hem the sleeves. I don't think I'm going to do the velvet cuffs. I don't like the look of them. I think it's too much velvet going on as it is. So I need to hem the cuffs, and I need to bind the bottom of the bodice, and then this is basically done. I haven't decided if I'm going to go in and bone along the back seams. I don't think I'm going to. You don't have to. I could do a waist stay, but I don't think I'm going to do that either. we're just going to call this done. So basically hemming, and then I need to put in a whole bunch of hooks and eyes. And then I need to put in decorative buttons, because I've got these black and gold jet buttons, which are, I'm pretty sure they're like gold plated, because it's like, let me get them, they're so pretty. I got them at an antique store. There's like 40 of them for like $10, and they're jet, and they're super pretty. And I've got two options. So I have these. Focus. There we go. I've got these little guys, which are very pretty. I don't know if there's a better way. And then I also have, And then I also have these. These little guys, which are also very, very pretty. So between the two of them, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, that one's broken. Ha! That's not the one I dropped. I swear I didn't break it. It was already broken. So between the two, I'm not entirely sure which one I like better for this project. I'm leaning towards these here, but then they're both really quite pretty. I have more of these. So basically, I was just gonna pop them like on the side, and they'd just be decorative, and then the bodice will actually close with hooks and eyes. About 25 million of them probably. I'll probably go in with little pins and tab out where I think that they should probably go. Boop. But yeah, so closures, hems, binding, all that jazz on that. And then scaling down my hat and then doing the finishing work on the dress. And then I think I am free to, I need to do a mock-up on Vader. And what did I put on my to-do list? Oh yes, ha. I need to do a petticoat for that before I can move on to the skirts because I need to get the foundation layers in place. Corset, check. Chemise, sort of check. Petticoat, no, so I need to make a petticoat. Sleeves are done. And then, yeah. So I guess I need to do a petticoat next. And then that little little bustle pad, which I have patterned out. I just need to do a mock-up on it. And coincidentally, that'll also help out with my Edwardian project that I want to eventually venture into. So, what do I want to work on right now? I think the hat first. Okay, so I thought I would give an update, and they're still shooting off fireworks. So I've only been working on the hat, and this is kind of what I have accomplished thus far. Sorry about my hair. I've been like putting this hat on and off. So it is right here. It looks like a little cake, which is kind of the point with the large hats, at least I think so. And I made it wrong because I forgot I put the lining on the wrong side. The lining is now facing up instead of down. Whoops. But I think it's close. It's very close. It's very close to what I want. But when I pop it on, I think it is a little bit too tall still. So, and not really quite what I am looking for. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to lower the brim. I'm gonna make the brim a little bit shorter, and then I'm gonna leave the width, the original width I had for the hat, which is about almost 8 inches across. Like this one measures in at 7 inches across, and it has a depth of 3 inches. So I'm going to do 2 inches on the depth and leave the original width of 8, so that way it will nestle a little bit further down on my head, because I think this one's just a little bit too far back and a little bit too high. I would like it to sit a little bit lower, therefore it needs to retain its width, but then the brim needs to be shorter, if that makes sense. So we are going to try that and see if that works. If I do that, I'll probably have to put a comb into this, which I don't currently even have a comb. I'll have to buy some online, probably from Etsy or something. But yeah, it is very close to what I want, but not quite there. So I'm gonna cut out more buckram and get more wire, and probably better wire, I think, from Joann's maybe tomorrow. And we're going to reattempt this. But for now, I think I'll go ahead and cut out all my pieces. I just need to get better wire. I'm using picture hanging wire, which is not the best. It's quite squishy, which most wire will be. It's fine. I'm making it out of buckram, which is buckram from Joann's no less, so it's not exactly sturdy, but it is sturdy enough for my purposes. I don't wear hats very often. I like them. I love hats. I just don't really wear hats. So, yeah. We will try this again. Because also, I would like to make a hat for this plat number. this jumper dress that I'm making, and eventually I would like to make a hat for this as well, but something like a little bit more Victorian style. So these pillboxes are really just practice for me making a hat for this, because I'd really love to have like some kind of like jaunty, tilted forward, kind of like Irene Adler in Sherlock, even though I'm pretty sure the years are going to be off there. I'm not striving for historical accuracy, I just want something historically inspired. So a jaunty little forward facing cap with some like floof feathers, flowers, I don't know, but something that would kind of go with this. Yeah. So these are all practice. Okay, it looks good on him too. So that's it for me tonight, and I will check in with all of you tomorrow. Okay, and we are back. This is the little bin of Etsy, which hopefully will outgrow its bin if this takes off like I hope it will. So for now, this is going to get put away, and let me show you what I got. Because we all like finding out what people are nosy. We like knowing what other people bought, right? At least I do. I think it's super fun. I'm afraid it's nothing terribly exciting. We have fiber fill for our hip pad and our bust improver. So hopefully I can make those up today now that I have this. Then I got some felt because it was on clearance. This is just normal crafting felt, and this is for any potential hats that I would like to make. So felting this is just to cover any wire that might be included in the hat, so that it, you know, when you cover it with fabric, it's a nice smooth surface. So I figured at 25 cents a sheet, this should be more than enough to make, you know, a little hat out of. So I decided to buy. And then some ribbon, just some simple black grosgrain ribbon. This is 10 yards, I think, 21 feet, however many yards that is. And this is only to bind the hem of our pinstriped jacket here, because I figured that would be the best way to finish it off, would be to take some ribbon and stitch it on the one side and then just fold it up and cross stitch it down to the lining. It's not the cleanest method, but it is the method that I am going to do. However, I can't do that until I make some adjustments to the jacket itself, because I went ahead and tried it on and I decided this comes up too high. I would like it to come down maybe an inch, so that means I have to take this apart, recut the velvet, reattach the lining, and fold it out again. And then in the front, I think it's fine the way it is, so we're gonna leave that. Oh, I actually might just go ahead and go in and redo that, because it's not exactly, there's this bit of suiting peeking through underneath the piping in the velvet, which I don't like. And then the other thing that I discovered when I tried it on was that the hook and eye idea did not work, so I'm gonna have to actually put in buttonholes, which I was hoping to avoid, but alas, it cannot be avoided. So all of those will come off and we'll do buttonholes instead. Am I going to do this anytime soon? Absolutely not. That's going to wait. It'll go back in its project bin with its ribbon, and we will work on something a little bit more fun than that. Okay, so here is where we're at for our wearable mock-up of the 1909 skirts. I have turned up the hem one time and just stitched that in place on the machine. Just some very wobbly stitching, and then I went and pressed it again because this fabric loves to wrinkle. Oh my god, it's a cotton twill. So next I need to, oh, I have also installed a zipper, because again, this is a wearable mock-up. So I need to whip stitch down the waistbands and then add a hook and eye at the waistband, maybe 2 hooks and eyes, to keep the waistband closed, since this is a 7-inch zipper and this is a 9-inch length. Anyway, so yes, I need to do that, and then I'm on the fence about actually going in and adding the buttons. Probably not, because it's a shorter length skirt. I think that'll look better on a longer length skirt, but I could add 4 like there and there maybe if I so chose. And then after I do the waistband, I just need to turn up the hem one more time and just, you know, whip stitch, tiny little stitch that in place. And then that is done, and I will have a new skirt in my wardrobe, and then of course remove these little basting stitches. And then once I finish that, I think I'm gonna call this done, or this week's vlog done. It's actually not even been a week. I think it's been like 2 weeks. but I filmed so sparingly this past week because I returned to work. So, yeah. Sometimes I'm just too tired after work to do anything other than go to sleep. Maybe like take a bath and then go to sleep. But, so yeah, this took a lot longer. Usually I'd probably be able to knock something like this out in a day, but this ended up taking like a week just because I was tired. So yeah, I'm gonna finish that up and then give you a good look on how it looks, and then probably call this video done for this week anyway. Yes, and I think I'm going to call this video here at this point, so if you've made it this far along, thank you for watching. I think these weekly vlogs are actually my favorite videos to film, even if they don't get the best reception as the project videos. But, you know, sometimes I work on a number of projects at a time, and I don't think they warrant their own project video, but I still want to share what I've been working on, so. Yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you. If you would like to see more videos from me, maybe actually project videos, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next time.